Okay, so this section is doing this indifference polynomials. We're going to start with the sum. Sum means adding. Now, I like adding the best because adding, we don't have to change any signs. All we do is combine like terms. So you notice we have set each half apart, each polynomial apart with parentheses. When we're adding, we can just rewrite everything with parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We don't need to change anything. Everything stays exactly the same, except for the fact that we don't have parentheses anymore. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to combine like terms. So the first term is this 3x squared. So I'm going to look down the line and see if I see another x squared, and lo and behold, we have another one. So we're going to do 3x squared plus 4x squared. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to write them with their like terms next to each other. I'm not going to combine them yet. I'm going to gather all of our like terms. So that'll be like our first step, is to gather the like term. The next type of term is a plain x, and this one is negative 2x. Notice I kept this subtraction as a negative. Whatever is in front of the term is what stays with it. So I have a plain x here. Okay, let me look. That's a constant. We already have that one. And here's the other one. Okay, so we're going to write it, and you have the sign that's in front. So if it's plus, it's plus. If it's minus, it's minus. So we're going to do minus 2x plus 3x. And then the last thing that we had our constants. We have a 1 here. Look down the line. The only other thing that I didn't underline is the 2. So we have plus 1 plus 2. Okay. So I'm going to back, I guess, to the pink, and we will combine these. So 3x squared plus 4x squared, that's just going to be 3 plus 4, which is 7x squared. Then we have negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2x plus 3 is plus 1x. And then we have 1 plus 2, which is 3, so plus 3. That would be it. I'm going to rewrite this without that 1 in front of the x. These mean the same things. Whenever you have a 1, you do not have to write it. And whenever you don't see a number in front of a variable, there is an invisible one that we haven't written. So that is an example of adding two polynomials together. I will do one more. I'll do number 4. So again, the first step I would say is to get them out of the parentheses. This time I'm not going to write them next to each other, the like terms. I'm just going to add them as we go. So we have 11x squared and 2 squared. Those are like terms because they have the same exponent and same variable. So 11x squared plus 2x squared would be 13x squared. Then we have a 5x. I'm going to do it with 2 lines. So 5x. I look and I see the only other thing is a 6, and it does not have an x. So we're just going to write it next. There's nothing we can combine it with, so it stays as is. Similarly, we only have one constant, so we're going to write that at the very end. And then there's nothing else to combine, so this is indeed our answer, right? Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to difference. So this is functioning in almost the exact same way, but the difference is that, and I'll go ahead and pull up a black pen that's a little thicker. Okay, so the difference with this is that when we take away our parentheses, this is going to change both of our signs in the second set of parentheses. So it's not going to touch this one. This one is going to stay the same. So when I pull it out, it's going to be 3x squared minus 9x plus 4. That's going to stay the same. What's going to happen is our 2x squared plus 2, we're basically distributing, not basically, we are distributing a negative 1 here. So it's going to be plus a negative 2x squared, okay, plus a negative 2. I decided to keep the pluses or the addition signs to kind of help keep us to show that they're picking up a negative if they didn't have one. Okay, So now we do the same thing. We're going to write our like terms next to each other. So we have a 3x squared and that negative 2x squared. So 3x squared minus 2x squared. Okay, pick up the magenta-ish. I have an x term. Notice I don't have any other x term, so it's by itself. We write it alone. Okay, and then finally we have our constants. We have two of them. So plus 4 minus 2. And now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So 3x squared minus 2x squared. 3 minus 2 is 1, so it'd be 1x squared. Remember, we do not have to write the 1, and I will show that both ways. Our 9x is by itself, so we write it by itself, like we don't need to change it. And then we have 4 minus 2, which is going to be plus 2 or a positive 2. This is the same thing as x squared minus x plus 2. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. I'll do it a slightly faster, same basic steps. So we're going to take it out of our, what's it called, parentheses. When I do that, I'm going to distribute a negative. So it's going to be plus a negative 5x squared, and then plus a negative 2x. It just switches signs. Then we have an 8x squared and a negative 5x squared. So that's going to be 8 minus 5, so 3x squared. Then we have a 2x term, and we have another 2x term. So we're really doing negative 2x plus a negative 2x. And when we're doing that, when we're adding, and signs are the same, what happens is we add the numbers and we keep the sign. So that's really going to be minus 4x. And then our last one is our constant, and we can look and see there's no other constant. So he just hangs out right at the end, and we don't need to change him. He stays as a 2, and then we are done.